Mr. Page, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. The Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City proceedings will begin. The board is now in session. If you're in possession of any type of electronic device, please place said device on the off or silent mode during proceedings. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, preliminary matter on the AM docket, case number 6, Bank Discount Liquors, 1419-21 Bank Street. This case has been postponed and will be rescheduled for a different date and time. The Boiler Room Restaurant, case number 1 North Haven Street, Class B, beer, wine, and liquor license, an application for a new Class B, beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under Article 12-903, small c, number 2, small i, small I, requiring $500,000 in capital investment, seating capacity for 75, but not more than 150 individuals, request for live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premise catering. The board to rehear matter concerning an issue identified during issuance process. Please come forward.
Good morning, Commissioners. Justin Williams from the law firm Rosenberg Martin Greenberg on behalf of the applicant, joined by David Seibert, who's the licensee applicant.
Good morning. Would you raise your right hand, sir, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
I do.
Mr. Williams?
Commissioners, good morning. We're here, as Mr. Page indicated, on an issue that arose during the issuance process. You approved the license for my client here about a year ago at this point. And then it was only when we were ready to get the license a few weeks ago that we reviewed, and the liquor board staff reviewed the criminal background check. And it showed that there were 2 cases in which the applicant was convicted in 1982 for CDS possession. And so we're here to request that the board allow us to amend the application to reflect those 2 charges. Mr. Seibert indicated that because the case was so long ago, it didn't even occur to him that it was a conviction. The background check information indicated that it was a probation sentence and a fine.
In each case?
Yeah, so one case there's 2 cases. An April 26, 1982 case that had no information on sentencing, and then a November 1, 82 case, which the information indicated there was a suspended sentence and probation and a fine. So I don't know if the April case information wasn't available, and Mr. Seibert doesn't recall.
Was it a violation of probation?
No, just said there wasn't one on the case record. He doesn't recall that, so I'm not sure if that means the April disposition was on the unsupervised.
And what was the
probation.
jurisdiction?
Baltimore City. I was going to make the joke if Commissioner Hafey were here. It happened before she was born, before I was born as well, and when you were young people, members of the bar. And the
Should have stopped while you were.
What do you say?
and
Commissioner Jones and I aren't following this argument.
We don't understand you.
And I'm not far behind.
but actually, Mr. Seibert is still a fit, I will argue, a fit and proper person to hold a license. The state legislature has made this case, these charges expungable now after 10 years of, I guess, no further convictions after the incident. And we're actually going to be filing expungement forms this week.
Okay, so technically, we are at which point, Mr. Page, that we've issued this license and it's just back for reconsideration?
We approve the license, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
They've met all the prerequisites for issuance, except the criminal background check.
Okay.
We've had these cases before occasionally, right?
So I have a new
Yes.
page 3 of the application to reflect. I'll give it to Ms.
This is amending the application that was filed for the issuance of a new license.
Okay, so we're just approving whether or not he can amend.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, Mr.
Do you
Chairman.
have any questions, Commissioner?
No
All right,
questions.
thank you. On the basis then of the information provided by Mr. Williams, I would vote to approve the amendment of the application.
I also vote to approve the amendment of the application.
I vote to approve the amendment of the application, presume that the issuance should flow therefrom, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No exhibits.
La Bamba's Liquor and Grocery, 1459 Anglesey Street, Class A, beer, wine, and liquor license. An application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kanensky representing Mr. Kenneth Sue, who is the applicant. and purchased the property there.
Okay, good morning. Would you folks raise your right hands, please?
All those here to testify, do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Say yes.
Yes, I do.
Do they understand?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. I mean, has a stroke and so, but I mean, he's able to talk with you. And this was a case that was in before, as Mayor Mann mentioned. Mr. Sue originally lived in Greenbelt. He has since moved. He lives on Joplin Street now. He's been there for the last 6 months, so he's going to be a city resident. That area is something you may or may not know. The streets are ABC, Anglesey, Bonsall, Cornwall. That's how they go all the way up the street to the county line. An interesting part of history. When it was annexed, he had bought this property, 459, and he owns 457 next door. 457 had a fire, and that would cause the problem. And they're in the process of now fixing up 459. It's going to take a while once the license is approved to get it, because the insurance company is holding it. It was probably an arson, but they're going to try to figure it out. He is going to operate the store. It's going to be his sole a source of income. He has a friend who was retired from security. He's going to help him out, and he's also going to get a manager who's going to help him run the store. He's going to be open 6 days a week from like 10 in the morning to maybe 11, 12 at night. It sits right on the corner there where the fire station is. I still call it City Hospital, but it's Bayview over there. He's going to take the alcohol awareness test, and
Will he be the only one handling the alcohol, or?
him and his other people he's having are going to all be certified. I've talked to Mr. Philippides. He's going to come out there and certify. And once he's a little ways away from getting ready to open. Apparently, after the fire, people broke in, stole whatever inventory was there. He's got pictures. I don't think it's anything worth looking at, but
What's the nature of the live entertainment, Mr. Kudinski?
I don't think there's any live entertainment there.
Ask well, it was zoned for it. I guess he's not requesting that, though?
I guess if they're going to do magic tricks or something there, I'm not
Okay.
sure. No.
All right, because I was wondering. All right.
Well, yeah, it has a C1 zoning, which means they could have not in a liquor store.
But not requesting it now. Okay. I didn't think so. Any questions, Commissioners?
No. Just, I don't know, did you touch on his experience?
And he doesn't have any experience other than he sold all his property he had in Greenbelt, moved here, and then he's going to hire people, and they'll be certified when they open up. It'll be a sole source of income because he wants to get closer to the medical attention he needs here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please just emphasize with him that it's serious and it's not easy to run one of these operations, so he's going to have to pay very close attention to the people he hires. Okay. On the basis of the materials contained in the application and the proffer from council, I would vote to approve the application to transfer ownership.
I also vote to approve the application.
I vote to approve the application to transfer ownership.
Love.
Exhibits?
Okay, thank you. All right.
1 second, Kenny. Take this with you. There you go. You finished. All right.
Okay, thank
Say
you.
goodbye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.
Thanks.
2322 Boston Street, Class BD7, Beer, Wine, and Liquor License. Amended application to transfer a location of a Class BD7 Beer, Wine, and Liquor License presently located at 1010 Alisana Street to 2322 Boston Street, requesting outdoor table service. Please come forward.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Abraham Hearn on behalf of the applicants, Little Chang LLC, and Mr. Benjamin Sawyer and Pichet Ong.
Good morning. Gentlemen, please raise your right hands.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Mr. Hurdle?
This is an application that we tried to amend. One of the previous applicants that we had filed and been approved under, Mr. Ferdinand Hui, just unfortunately wasn't able to kind of complete the journey. He had just needed to be off the license. Sensing that might be an issue, we went out and we got Mr. Sawyer to come onto the license. And now we have, instead of having, I think, about 25 years of experience, now we have about 50 years of experience between the two gentlemen who will be running the establishment. The establishment's about a month or so away from opening. There's just kind of final permitting at this point. It's been featured in the newspaper recently, and everyone seems to be really looking forward to it.
Okay. They haven't got a name for it yet?
The trade name is going to be Nihao, is my understanding. But it's not something that we have filed with the state, is my understanding as well. It's not associated with the company, and it wasn't the application, which has been, again, amended a few months ago.
And this outdoor table service, it'd be how much outdoor?
In terms of how many seats,
Yeah.
I don't think it's very many. My belief is that it's probably 15 or 20, and I think it's one of those situations where it's all in the back area, but I'm not certain. Yeah, the patio is self-contained private property, and my understanding is it looks like from the drawing, it looks like 6 four-tops, so about 24 seats in that regard.
And did one of these gentlemen operated at the Alisans Street address?
No.
No, they just purchased it to move it?
Correct.
Okay. And their background, you said they have extensive background?
Mr. Ong has 30 years' experience in the industry, and Mr. Sawyer has 19 years in the industry.
Okay. And they're certified?
I believe that they both were certified. They offered to bring the certificates. I asked them not to. I told them they didn't need to today. But we'll have them, of course, before we pick up the license.
And all those who serve alcohol will be certified?
Our goal is always to have everyone who's serving alcohol, in terms of servers, bar staff, anyone else on the property who's serving alcohol to be certified, of course.
Okay. Commissioners?
No question?
Only question, comment I'd make is, Mr. Ong, appears you live in Northern Virginia. Just with your fairly significant interest in this, how do you intend to be a little more, are you going to be hands-on? Explain your role, because I'm concerned a little bit about the distance.
Well, I'm a business partner in the company as well as the culinary operator. I have an apartment as well across the street from the restaurant
Okay,
that
great.
I've got.
You answered my question. Thank you. So you'll be hands-on and you'll be present.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? Okay, thank you then. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, the proffers from council, and the testimony received, I'd vote to approve the transfer of the license from the Alisand Street location to the Boston Street location with outdoor table service.
I also vote to amend the application to transfer location as well as the request for outdoor table services.
I join my colleagues in approving the application to transfer the location to the 2322 Boston Street with outdoor table service. Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you. May we be excused?
Close it is.
300 West 30th Street, Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license. An application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service and requesting off-premise catering. Please come forward.
Morning.
How are you?
Okay.
My name is Elon Coates. I'm the owner of the LLC, Diz Management LLC, and this is David Alima, my licensee.
Gentlemen, would you raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Okay, so Mr. Coates, you are a member of the LLC. You're the sole member of the LLC?
I am, yes.
Okay. And so tell us about this.
So I am purchasing 300 West 30th Street, which is the Diz, and we are here for a approval of
I thought you looked familiar.
I was here a year
With
ago.
Orto.
For Orto, you're
Yes,
right.
okay.
Yeah, so I opened Orto a year ago and was here for a new B7. So here we're doing the transfer so I can settle on the building and reopen. David is our licensee. He is the owner of the Charmery. So he is a good friend and advisor.
Any of the old staff at the DIS going to work there?
I hope so. It's been closed for a while now, so I have a list of phone numbers. There's a couple servers that we know will come back. Kitchen staff, as they have to work week by week, we'll see. But yeah, we'll see what
Any
happens.
significant changes to it?
So the building needs some love. We're gonna do some infrastructure work. I want it to be able to last for another 30 years at least. Changes, just clean the menu up a little bit, but it's still gonna be the Diz. It's gonna be just delicious Americana, the same burgers you guys remember. Add a couple entrees, and be thoughtful about sourcing when we can, and just the whole package, like similar to what I did at Orto.
And the target date for open?
So after closing, my timeline is looking like 90 days. Then again, we know that can shift forward or backwards depending on how the project goes.
Commissioners?
No questions?
There's one thing I wanted to request. So on the existing liquor license, there was a stipulation that GRIA, the Greater Remington Improvement Association, had recommended for a restriction on outdoor table service. We have outdoor table service. And I met with GRIA, and GRIA supported to, I have a letter from them. They said, GRIA also wishes to note its support for the use of outdoor table without any barriers or conditions previously imposed. There was a weird time thing where the neighborhood wanted it shut down by a certain hour because I think they were allowing people to be a little more rowdy than they should. And I assured that, the way that I run business, we'll make sure to be conscious, not to mention I'm a neighbor.
Do you want to put that letter in evidence?
Yes, please.
Okay, we'll receive it. You can send us a copy or give us a copy or whatever. Okay.
I have a bunch of them right here.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, if that was a restriction imposed by zoning based on the community's input impact letter, then your use permit must reflect the change in hours for the outdoor table service when you present to us.
Great.
So that's an issue for the zoning board? Okay.
Thank you.
The evidence will be received. Anything further?
Nothing further.
Okay, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application and the testimony received as well as the exhibit received, I would vote to approve the application to transfer ownership with continued outdoor table service and off-premise catering.
Also, I approve also, but like as stipulated by the executive secretary, the stipulation must be on the use permit in reference to the outdoor table services.
Right.
I join my colleagues in approving the application to transfer the ownership with continuation of outdoor table service and off-premise catering.
Good luck. We like the Diz. Keep it, get it going again.
Michael Elizabeth for the record. Board Exhibit 1, letter from GRIA Community Association dated 1/9/20.
No.
Water for Chocolate, 1839-41 East Lombard Street, Class D, beer and wine license. Request to expand licensed premises to include 1839-41 East Lombard Street. Please come forward.
Would you folks raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So you're Ms. Hargrove? Yes. You want to identify yourself for the record?
Sean Guy, I'm her son.
Okay. And you want to expand to include, is this next door? Is that-
We expanded, next door.
Okay. So how much larger is the place?
Well, it's, how many feet?
321.
321 feet with the ADA bathroom. That's the reason for the expansion, and 8 additional seats.
Oh, okay. And everything else is going well?
Yes.
Good.
Mr. Guy, would you like to tell us a little bit about your restaurant? I mean, you're being recorded, people are watching. I know you're very proud of it, as most people are. Would you like to tell us, since you're expanding?
Yes, this is our 13th year in operation. We do American cuisine, no fried foods, all fresh ingredients. And this expansion really allows us to just, present a better experience, a finer dining, if you will. And we're looking forward to it.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Jones, you have any?
None at all.
You're not going to give her a hard time, right? Okay, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application and the testimony received, I would vote to approve the request to expand the licensed premises to include 1839 to 41 East Lombard Street.
I concur with the chair.
And I would approve as well the expansion of the licensed premises to include 1839 to 1841 East Lombard Street. Good luck.
Good luck.
No exhibits?
Red Star, 3224 St. Paul Street. Class B, beer, wine, and liquor license. Request for a hardship extension under Article 12-2202. Please come forward.
Counsel?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. My name is Joe Woolman. I represent the applicant, who is standing to my right. Kathy Bryan is the Vice President with Beatty Development.
Good morning. Would you raise your right hand, please, Ms. Brown?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
This is a request. You had sent the board a letter on December 5, saying landlord has identified a new restaurant tenant, and lease negotiations are almost completed. So you were asking for what, 90 days or?
I believe 90 would be sufficient. We didn't specify in the letter. I have an outline which I'll submit for the record, copies for each of you. which outlines the hardship and the pending transfer application with the new tenant that my client has identified. They've met with the neighborhood as recently as December 3rd. The neighborhood's very excited about this new tenant who has 5 other locations in the region. The reason for the delay was they were having difficulty with their Columbia opening. That's since been resolved. Excuse me, and I spoke with the counsel for the new tenant as recently as yesterday, and they plan to file this application for transfer, I believe, next week.
So this is the place across from the Hopkins bookstore?
Yes.
Okay, and,
It's across from Barnes and Noble.
yes,
Yes.
right. I liked that Red Star. I was sorry to see it close. I seem to have a bad, when I appear, they're gone.
I'm glad to see the Diz is coming back, for the
Yes.
record.
So this is coming back in this iteration, is it going to be Red Star again or something else?
It's going to be something else. I believe the operator's a little bit sensitive because once the word is out, it's a well-known name, but because things aren't completely finalized, we're keeping the name under wraps for now, but the neighborhood is aware and is very excited about it.
Can you tell us?
We'll have a little meeting afterwards. How about that?
Anything further, Commissioners? Okay. Thank you. On the basis then of the written request we received on December 5, as well as the representations from council and Ms. Bryant this morning, I'd vote to grant a 90-day hardship extension.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. This would be 180 days.
Oh, I
not
thought
to
he had
exceed
said,
360.
okay, all right, I'll make it a 180-day extension.
Not to exceed 360. Yes.
On that note, I concur with the chair.
Yeah, and I too would grant the hardship extension for 180 days, not to exceed 360.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
I call exhibits for the record. Exhibit number 1, hearing outline.
York Club, 5407 York Road, Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license. This is a request for a transfer hardship extension under Article 12-1705, small b. Please come forward.
Would you folks raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Ma'am, do you want to state your name, please?
Savita Gajre.
How do you say your last name?
Gajre.
Gajari. Okay. And the other gentlemen are?
Roscoe Cooper.
And?
Ananya Dava.
Okay. So, Ms. Gajari and Mr. Cooper wrote a letter to the board in November requesting an extension for hardship transfer, asking for 90 additional days. Is that correct? That's why you're here today. And do you think that everything will be completed within that time period?
For that, but still to be on the safer side, 90 days, yes.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No.
Just for the building renovation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
Sorry. We are trying to get it done with, way before the 90 days. Just to be a safe side, if something happened, so like if it needed to be extended in more than 90 days, what is the next step, if in case, just for the safe side?
Is there a further
Mr.
request?
Chairman, there is no extension beyond 270 days total.
Okay.
If they fail to transfer within 270 days, they must refile an application for transfer of ownership.
Okay,
So you have to start the process all over again if you don't. Okay.
Okay, so get it done.
get it, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. On the basis then of the request, the written request dated November 12, 2019, and the testimony received this morning, I would vote to grant a 90-day transfer hardship extension.
I also vote to approve the request for transfer hardship.
I concur and would grant the 90-day transfer hardship extension.
Good luck.
No exhibits.
Excuse me, sir. Can I get you to spell your name for me for the record?
First name is Anand, A-N-A-N-D, last name Yadava, Y-A-D-A-V-A.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
4017-19 Eastern Avenue, Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license. A request for a transfer hardship extension under Article 12-1705, small b. Please come forward.
Record Melvin J. Kadensky, representing Norma Rosario in this request for a hardship extension
And this is for how long, Mr. Kadensky?
for 90 days,
90 days. And
after February 4th.
And will the transfer take place within that time?
Well, it's already been transferred. She's, if you remember, these were the people that left there and put those nasty letters where there was, have 2 letters on one and F this, you, and we had a tough time with them. Finally got them out, and she's trying to get the place together, but it's going to take her at least another 90 days from the 180.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
None.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis then of Mr. Kadensky's letter to the board of November 20, 2019, and his proffers this morning, I would vote to grant a 90-day transfer hardship extension.
I concur with the chair.
I vote to approve a 90-day hardship extension.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Mr. Page, does that take care of our morning docket?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. The board is in recess until 1 p.m.
Larry, Happy New Year. Whenever we're ready, Mr. Page.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. Now begins the PM docket of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City. If you're in possession of any type of electronic device, please place said device on the off or silent mode during proceedings. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, there being no preliminary matters on the PM docket. Case number 1, Slim Ace of Club, 4200 Bel Air Road. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, here for violation of Rule 4.01 small a, sales to minors on November the 21st, 2019. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky representing the licensee.
Good afternoon. Will all those who are going to testify in this matter please come forward and raise your right hands?
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
I do.
I do.
Mr. Kadensky, is going to be an admission or denial?
The admission.
Okay.
Unless you want to hear any information, I'll just give you an explanation.
I think we have before us that this occurred on November 21, and there was a sale of peach Amsterdam vodka.
That's a terrible thing to drink. You ever drink that? Ooh.
Wouldn't consider it, but I'm too old for that.
I'm older than you are. Yeah, and then it was a 6-pack of Corona, whatever. What happened was that this person was terminated as soon as it happened. The gentleman has had all his people, 6 people, recertified. They've been told to check everybody, and I told them if you ask them their age and they don't have it, then they'll go. But for whatever reason, it seems like there's that. I think I'm going to have a big sign printed up for all of my clients and say, "Listen, here it is, and you can't come up here and keep going into places and doing it." But for some reason, I'm sure the fellow that owned it before, Slim, he would be turned over in his grave. He would see this happen again.
Okay, so your client, is this Mr. Smith, Mr. Everett?
Harold Smith.
Mr. Smith, okay. He's had the license for, 3.5 years, something like that? Okay. Were they cooperative with you, Detective? Okay. The commissioners have questions?
None.
No questions.
Okay, thank you. Anything further, Mr. Kadensky?
Yeah, I'm thinking, he did whatever they could. Usually I told them they don't have to terminate them, but some people figure, well, it's going to cost them a lot of money, and they tell them that. They said, they're just going to terminate. It's not worth it if you, like once bitten, twice shy, you don't move on to somebody else.
Okay. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents and the proffers from counsel, testimony received, and the admission, I find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on November 21, 2019. This is a second offense for a sale to minor. So I'd impose a $750 fine and give him 30 days to pay.
I concur with the chair.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A on November 21st, 2019, and concur with the imposition of a $750 fine with 30 days to pay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Constables for the record, Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective LeBron. Board Exhibit 2, Investigation Report, Agent Barton.
Whispers, 1807-11 Baker Street, Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license, Here for violation of Rule 4.01, small a, sales to minors on November the 21st, 2019. Violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, December the 13th, 2019. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees. This will be a denial.
Okay, good afternoon, and would all those who are going to testify raise their right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
I do.
Detective?
On 11/21 of last year, at 21:15 hours, 9:15 p.m., City Vice, along with including Detective LeBron, Detective Gatto, and myself, along with Agent Martin of the Baltimore City Legal Board, conducted an underage sales to minor investigation at the tavern known as Whispers, located 1807 Baker Street. Working also that was with us that night was Cadet James Stokes with a date of birth of 4/28/2000. As stated, Cadet Stokes entered Whispers and purchased a 375 milliliter of Peach Amsterdam vodka at the cost of $7. In order to purchase the alcoholic beverage, Cadet Stokes used the departmental $20 bill with the serial number MG49007410. After the purchase, Cadet Stokes exited the location and notified Detective Greenhill and myself. At that time, I responded back in to the location and identified ourselves. The employee who served Cadet Stokes the alcohol beverage was identified via photo as Mr. Young Chao Yun. I identified the employee, retrieved other detectives retrieved the department of $20. Afterwards, we just basically advised him be more careful and not to do it again, and did furthermore check ID.
And before he cross-examines you, was he cooperative with you, Detective?
Let's see, because I didn't write the report, so Detective LeBron wrote the report.
Okay, so we don't know. But there's no evidence to the contrary.
He was cooperative with us.
Okay.
If I can recollect, I didn't have any problems. I didn't have to raise my voice.
Okay, Mr. Previs may have some questions for you.
Thank you. Detective Greenhill, did you observe the incident that you just described?
No.
You were outside?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. I have no further questions.
Okay. Did you want to put on evidence?
Well, I would move to strike Detective Greenhill's testimony as he did not observe what he alleges to have testified to.
I understand that, but we're not bound by that rule here, so we'll...
All right, I will call Cadet James Stokes.
Okay?
I think we got to swear in. I think we got to.
You swear in.
No, I think we got to. There was some confusion, I think.
Okay,
So,
that's fine.
sorry.
Inspector Martin was...
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, so he'll testify from down there, okay?
Okay. Cadet Stokes, were you just standing there previously?
Yes, sir.
I thought somebody else was up there. I'm sorry. No. Okay. All right. Cadet Stokes, what is your date of birth?
4/28/2000.
Okay. And did you enter the Whispers on Baker Street on November 21st, 2019, approximately 19:15 p.m.? Sorry, I can't talk today.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you alone?
Yes, sir.
All right. And what happened?
I went in, I purchased alcohol, and accident.
That was it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you go up to the counter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what did you say?
Nothing, sir, actually.
You didn't ask, you didn't order something from somebody?
Ordered the alcohol, sir, received it, paid the money for it, turned around, walked out, that was that.
Okay. Well, was there a person that you spoke to?
The person behind the counter, sir.
Yeah. Who was that?
I do not recall the name, sir.
Okay. Do you recognize him?
If I saw a lineup of them, sir, I probably would.
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you.
Do not recognize the people in front of me, no, sir.
Okay. Do you remember the incident?
I remember multiple incidents from that night, sir.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I remember multiple incidents from that night, sir.
Multiple that night?
Yes, sir.
You don't have a specific recollection about this incident?
If I saw the location of the store, sir, I'll probably have a more precise memory of it.
Okay, but you don't remember whispers or what happened that night?
Again, sir, I remember multiple events from that incident.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions. I would move to dismiss.
Denied. You want to put on evidence?
Okay. No, I have some mitigation. Well, there's a second charge?
Yeah, did that get fixed? They're charged with not having a forfeited charter. Did that get repaired?
Mr. Kim has provided me, and I have extra copies here. Apparently, there was the comptroller initiated a forfeiture of the charter based upon a sales tax hold. And when he became aware of it, he went to the comptroller and initiated a payment plan. And according to the payment plan, he's paid $1,211, and he is on January 5th, and he is due to pay another $1,211 on February 5th. And there's a handwritten note there that's from the comptroller, not from him, that says they'll release the charter forfeiture once that second payment is made. But that is in fact the payment plan, so he has taken.
Okay, certified
in the
funds,
middle.
okay to release
Yes.
charter.
Charter hold.
After February 5, when the second payment comes?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So-
So he's made efforts to get this resolved, and
He
it
has.
should be resolved next month?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you have other mitigation?
Yeah, this licensee has had a little bit of a recent history with us. And Mr. Choi is here. He's actually the gentleman that was there that evening. And he indicates that he asked, you can speak,
yeah.
but you asked how old the
When the
gentleman was?
customer come in asked me, I need to buy the Amsterdam, 1 pint, and $20 gave to her. She looks over age, and so I asked him, how old are you? I'm 24. Then I didn't ask about because she looks too old. So I could tell. Also, the gentleman now looks like him. He's 6 feet, also square type of face.
That's not him?
Looks like not remember him, but not
Okay.
same.
Do you
to
see
me.
do you see anybody else in here that looked like the gentleman you served that evening?
Don't look at me.
No,
Wasn't
you,
me.
Anyone else
not
over
you.
here? Sorry. Okay. Okay.
Anything else?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
I have none.
No questions.
Okay. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received, I find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on November 21, 2019, and a violation of Rule 4.16 on December 13, 2019. As to the latter, I accept the licensee's representations and this. Oh.
Go to the microphone, please.
Joanne Martin, Baltimore City Liquor Board. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I did want to ask or say or add to something from the violation, the minor. The cadet might not have remembered because the actual outside of the bar does not say Whispers, it says Old Clubhouse.
Okay.
That he says he doesn't recall going to Whispers. I just wanted to make mention of that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Maybe that's why he doesn't recall that.
Do you have any questions for him?
No.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So anyway, with respect to the Rule 4.16 violation, I accept that the licensee has made good faith efforts to resolve the issue, and I'm not going to impose a sanction on that one. As to the sale to minor, they have a terrible record. They've had this license since 2015, and they've got 5 previous violations. Not all sales to minors, but BG7 violations as well. And I didn't find his testimony credible. So I would impose a $2,500 fine. I'd give him 30 days to pay that, and I'd impose a 2-day suspension.
I concur with the chair.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, and concur with the imposition of a $2,500 fine and a 2-day suspension. I find a violation of Rule 4.16 on December 13, 2019, and would concur with the imposition of no fine.
Do you want this back?
No, that's an extra copy.
Okay, so we'll make this part of the record.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Should I close this for the record?
Suspension begins immediately, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
I close this for the record. Board Exhibit 1, investigation report, Detective LeBron. Board Exhibit 2, SSTEP printout. Board Exhibit 3, investigation report, Agent Martin. Licensee Exhibit 1, State of Maryland payment plan.
Bayview Liquors and Upper Level Lounge, 3804 Eastern Avenue. Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01 small a, sales to minors on November the 12th, 2019. Violation of Rule 3.02, cooperation on November the 12th, 2019. Please come forward.
Counsel?
For the record, Gary Maslin on behalf of the licensee, Bayview Liquors.
Good afternoon. Will all those who are going to testify, please come forward and raise your right hands.
You swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Admission or denial, Mr. Maslin?
We would admit the first allegation, but deny the lack of cooperation allegation.
Okay. So who is going to testify with respect to the Rule 3.02 violation on November 12th?
Which is the lack of cooperation.
Right.
I will.
Okay. Can you identify yourself, please?
Detective Abraham McKnight Gatto, Baltimore City Vice Unit. On the listed 11/12/2019 at 2100 hours, we are conducting a underage police alcohol purchasing detail with the Baltimore City Liquor Board. Once our cadet Queensberry and Harvell entered the location, they went to the second floor where there is a bar. Below there is a packaged good and also alcohol sales. Once in there, they met with their server, who was later identified as Melissa Rodriguez. They ordered 2 Coronas. They were served the Coronas and exchanged for our departmental $20 bill, which I have photocopied right here. They then notified our units. We entered the location, myself, Agent Clark, other members of the Baltimore City Vice Unit. Once inside, I met with my 2 cadets who were advising me who sold them the alcohol. This individual, upon seeing me reach the top steps, immediately darted towards the bathroom and put themselves in a bathroom, the female server. I knocked on the door. They would not exit. I knocked on the door again. They finally exited after I walked away from the bathroom. The cooperation part occurred with the inability to really explain anything to us. There was no attempt to say, here's my identification. I had to ask over and over again. There was never an urgency to own up to the situation, even though I had the alcohol served. My cadets were advising me who served the alcohol, and then more or less I retrieved my currency. So I had the sale, and I had really no cooperation as to the where or who this person was. I then later, Agent Clark and Detective Greenhill, we had to more or less resort to their employee records just to get the information of this person. And they did produce employee records which didn't have any photo IDs, but they had names listed of that source. So it was just, it was a very lengthy process to finally identify who this young lady was, to the point to where we took pictures of her on the scene.
Okay, do you have questions for?
Yeah, when you went in there, the detective, the woman was very scared. Is that a fair statement?
I can't testify as to her feelings because I'm not in her body. She just, at the sight of me, decided she wanted to get away and evade the situation.
Well, that's your assumption.
As is yours, right.
And I didn't make any assumption.
That she was
But
afraid.
She went into the bathroom, is that correct?
Right.
All right. It's common knowledge that people have urges sometimes to have to go to the bathroom.
And people have urges at the sight of a clothed police officer to want to get away from a situation.
When she went in, she didn't hide anywhere. She walked into a ladies' room or restroom, and she locked the door.
Indeed, but as I testified, if I may, that she fled towards the bathroom.
I know there was other employees in the establishment, correct?
There was one other female behind the bar.
All right, and no one else left the area, went into the restrooms, correct?
No, just her, just the server.
And there was a point after she came out of the restroom, is that correct?
Yes.
And isn't it true that she didn't have a great command of English?
Again, it's an assumption because that's a very interesting question, because at the time there was an issue with English, but after everything was settled and I was able to identify her and explain the situation, she claimed she understood everything. So there was a time where there was no understanding, and then there was a time of full understanding, and everything was clear. So.
But there was a point, you had noted in your report that she you had difficulty communicating with her, due to her lack of command of English.
Right, and it does say in my report, in the first 2 minutes, she advised that she had a poor understanding of English, but at the end, she had not.
And do you recognize this gentleman here?
I do not know his name. He may have been there that night. I may have spoken to him.
You don't remember? Do you remember that gentleman there?
I recognize his face. Again, I don't know his name.
Got an unforgettable face, I think. But
I hope that's a compliment.
It is. So after that, you don't remember Mr. Nagash and the manager on duty providing you with the employee records?
As I stated, there was employee records, but there was no photo images, so it was just names. So again, her identity in some ways still remains unknown.
All right, but they went down and they had employee records, and they identified the woman who served the cadets, correct?
After taking a photo, they gave me a list of names, but you could give me a list of the yellow pages, and without a photo of the person, I don't know if it's actually that person, which is why I took pictures.
I understand, but they were cooperative with you, immediately produced the employee records that they have, and her name was one of the employees.
It didn't occur immediately. I had to fish and hunt just to try to identify this individual.
Well, and you don't recall this gentleman at all?
I didn't say I don't recall him. I recognize his face, but regardless of whether I recall him or not, my issue was trying to identify my server. He had not served alcohol to anyone, so my focus, as my colleague's focus, was on this young lady and trying to know who she was, whether she was even an employee of this establishment.
I, Agent Clark, recognize him as the owner of the establishment. Yes, I was there as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Do you wish to present any
Oh,
evidence?
please. Would you state your name for the record?
Jonas Nagash.
Mr. Nagash, come up to the microphone so we can hear. We're being recorded. So
Okay.
Mr. Nagash, were you a past president of the business association there?
Yes.
The area there?
Yes.
And you've been a licensee for some time, is that correct?
Yes.
And you're aware of your obligation, to card everyone and make sure that there's not any sales to minors taking place in your establishment?
Yes.
Can you tell the board what efforts you've made to ensure that there are no sales to minors taking place in that establishment?
All right. I took about 5 different steps. And number one, I certified all employees to have the alcohol awareness certificate, and also required to be even higher in the building
the
with
board.
the certificate.
All certificates of all the employees that are working there.
And is
Okay,
this was after or before the,
That's
it was
some-
issued on
some of
December
them-
17th, okay.
Some of them before, some of them after. And
Looks like they're all
in
after.
addition to that, you have a sign that you posted on the outside of your building?
Yes, we
You don't let anybody.
we
in.
have a sign right in the front door on the glass that anyone who comes in has to be 21 years of age to enter the store unless accompanied by a parent or guardian. And number three, we have a point of sale system that reminds employee, because in the past I explained to you guys, I even go around other businesses to use this system on the cash register. Whenever you try to ring, it reminds you, you have to override it to the person to either to be 21 or not. So now that system failed to work at this time because the server served the cadet. She gave him the drink first, and then she collect the money after. So the carry-out sale, she gets the money first, which is when she trying to ring, she had to override it in order to serve him.
Now, you were present in this establishment on
Yes.
this particular evening.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And and where were you exactly in the store?
That night, I was actually in the building, and we were putting inventory and fixing things up, and while I was still looking, and I actually saw the girl and the guy, the two cadets when they come in, but I don't know if they were police or not, but I still know they were young. So I have one of my employees to run upstairs, and he went in, instead of going directly to them, he went inside the bar and talking to the girl if she served them or she asked ID. And by then, the beers are already on the table.
So how many servers did you have there?
2.
So he had gone to the one bartender, but not the one that served him.
Not the one that served me.
So you were alarmed when you saw him walk in, is that correct?
Yes.
So you sent him upstairs. So after you were notified that the police came in, did you cooperate with the police fully?
Oh, yes.
Did you give the police the names of all the employees?
Yes.
Did you have on the premises all of the employees' names and addresses?
Yes.
All right, but you didn't have photographs of the employees?
No, I don't. Now I do.
No, you don't.
No,
At
I
that
don't.
time, you didn't. But you were fully cooperative with
Yes, yes.
this gentleman and all the police?
Yes.
All right. And you participate in the community to try and curb any outside activity that goes on in the community?
Yes.
Matter of fact, you've reached out to other people that sell alcohol in the community to try and raise alcohol prices so that people don't buy cheap alcohol and drink
Yes,
when
yes.
they leave. And you've trained all your employees and you've instructed them all to card people.
Right.
Now, after this incident occurred, what did the person that served the police officer do?
What happened?
Yeah, she's still working for you?
No, she's fired. After she come out of the bathroom, this girl is actually pees on herself. She was so scared. I don't know what happened.
She had urinated on herself?
Yeah. She's so scared, and she just quit the job. And I want her to go anyway, but she never came back since then.
Now, you've done everything you can to make sure that your staff is trained. You even hired the security guard. The security guard cards them in the front door, is that correct?
Right, yes.
All right, and matter of fact, a week later, the members of the liquor board came back in with other cadets, is that correct?
Yes.
And you sent them away, is that correct?
Yes.
And you got a commendation letter from the liquor board for that?
Yes.
We'd offer this letter. You'll note the date, it's November the 25th. It's about a week later.
Actually, 4 days later.
4 days?
No, it's the 12th to the 20th. It's 2 weeks later.
2 weeks later, they came back, and he had caught them, and they got turned away. And he also, what have you done with the management to make sure that there's additional supervision in the establishment?
What we did is, I hire a dedicated person to check ID at the door, and anyone that comes in, if she leaves her post, we put somebody there, making sure always someone is at the door, checking ID, and then also we implement 2 point of check ID. Number 1 is at the door, number 2 at the point of sale. Even though she checked the ID, we still double check it.
Now, the lovely lady standing to your right, who is she?
My wife?
You recently married?
Yes.
All right, she's helping you out as well?
Yes.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Newlyweds. She's from Canada, so her background's as a CPA. So that's all we have as to that. We just heard rather briefly as to the lack of cooperation. You heard what occurred. The woman went in. She was obviously visibly upset. She went to a bathroom. She had so traumatized. She says that she had relieved herself a little bit on her own clothing. And there is a lack of English communication that exceeded, but the records were produced. There wasn't any, I submit that there was no lack of cooperation. There was cooperation. As to the incident itself, we've admitted that it occurred, but when you have employees that are just, for reasons, don't follow your instructions and do what you're instructed to do, it really boggles your mind. My client was alert enough that when he saw them, that he tried to stop it. He made every effort he could possibly do. He was, like I said, he was up in a ladder at the time when he observed it, instructed somebody to run upstairs, and unfortunately there were two servers there, as you've heard, and the one server had already put this on the table. The registers have a code on them. You have to check ID. There's a reminder there. It's downstairs, and this one server did not. You'll see, you saw that he's got all the, everyone is certified. He has the security guard that's there as an additional safeguard, and he takes his responsibilities as a licensee very seriously and diligently. And I would submit that the proof is in the pudding, as they say in the kitchen, because 12 days later, they came back, and he was able to make sure that this incident did not repeat.
Okay, commissioners have questions?
Yes, I do. Nagish,
Yes,
how long have you owned this establishment?
since 2003.
Have you ever been convicted of for selling alcoholic beverages to a minor?
Yes.
How many times?
We have the first 2 on the A license, and then I have a B7, or BD7 after 2018, I believe. And since then, this is the back-to-back incident.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, the testimony received, arguments of counsel, and the exhibits which have been received in evidence, I find a violation of Rule 4, and the admission, I find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on November 12, 2019. I find a violation of Rule 3.02 on November 12, 2019. As Commissioner Jones points out, this is a very poor record. I don't know who you're hiring. It sounds like this woman was a very bad employee for a number of reasons. And apparently in the past have had the same thing. We've had employee records issues. We've had a number of sales to minors, a BD7 violation. And on the other hand, it sounds like you're trying to do something to correct it. Maybe too little, too late, I don't know. I'll give you some credit for those efforts. They're very recent. As to the 4.01 small a violation, I'm going to impose a $2,000 fine, give you 30 days to pay it. As to the 3.02 violation, I impose a $500 fine, give you 30 days to pay it. And I'd actually like to hear from my colleagues as to whether they think a suspension is required.
Well, looking at the record, I, for one, believe that suspension is in line. It's not like this is the first time, multiple times. And efforts taken now should have been taken some time ago. And I think Suspension is in line at this point.
I would concur with Commissioner Jones.
Okay, so 2 days?
Yeah, I'll do two.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it'll be a total of $2,500, 30 days to pay, 2-day suspension, which will be effective as soon as they pick it up. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
I guess we need Commissioner Jones to rule.
Oh, did you agree with that?
Oh, I concur.
Yeah, and I too find violation of Rule 4.01A on November 12, 2019, and concur with the imposition of a $2,000 fine. I find a violation of Rule 3.02 on November 12, 2019, concur with the $500 imposition and a 2-day suspension.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
I call exhibits for the record. Licensee Exhibit 1, alcohol burner certification. Licensee Exhibit 2, letter of recognition from Baltimore City Liquor Board. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Clark.
Special P's Bar and Lounge, 2738 Baker Street, Class D, beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 3.09, small b, restroom facilities and health on November the 8th, 2019. Please come forward.
All those who are going to testify, please raise their right hands.
You swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Okay, are you Ms. Perrier?
Yes.
So you're charged with this restroom facilities health violation on November 8th. Do you admit or deny the violation?
Deny.
Okay, so who's going to testify?
All right. On 11/8 of last year at 23:30 hours, which would be 11:30 p.m., Baltimore City Police Department consisting of myself, Detective LeBron, and Detective Gatto responded to 2738 Baker Street. This location is a tavern bar known as Special P's Bar and Lounge. Along with this was a Friday night, so it was a social club task force night. So also that was in the company with us was Health Department, Fire Marshal's Office, as well as housing investigators. During the overall inspection, Inspectors Rice and Gruber found several violations, including expired health permit from 2017, no running hot water, no in the 3-compartment sink. There was no 3-compartment sink behind the bar.
Are you the inspectors?
Yes.
Come on up. Identify yourselves for the record, please.
Hi, I'm Brian Rice.
Josh Groover.
Okay, so what did you find?
So during our inspection, we pretty much found out they did not have a hand sink, which is a critical violation, and we also realized that their permit had expired back in 2017. They're a low-risk facility, so they only get inspected by us once every 2 years.
Okay.
They also didn't have any hot water, which is another critical violation.
Has any of this been repaired since you were there?
Yes.
I did their reinspection 11/18. All of the violations were corrected, and they're now in good standing with Baltimore City Health Department.
Did they cooperate with you as far as you know?
Yes, very much.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, what is your name, sir?
Sean Perrier.
Are you her son? Okay. Did you want to say anything else about this?
The only reason why I denied when it said we didn't have a 3-compartment zinc behind the bar, which we did. It was a hand zinc was in question.
That's correct.
Okay, that's fine. So you've had this license for almost 10 years now, and you really have not got a bad record at all. You had a charter violation once upon a time, but this is really the first thing, and you've corrected it, and you did it fairly promptly. So does anybody else have anything to say, commissioners or anybody?
Nothing.
No.
Okay. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents and the evidence received, I find a violation of Rule 3.09 small b on November 8, 2019. In light of the mitigating circumstances, I'd impose a $200 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
I concur.
Yeah, I too find a violation of Rule 3.09B on November 8, 2019, in light of the fact that you made a number of corrective measures to address it so promptly. I would concur with the imposition of a $200 fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Purr, how do you spell your first name? C-A-N? Yes, great. There's like 7 ways.
Medical exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective LeBron. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Malice.
Busy Bee, 4500-04 Erdman Avenue, Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01 small a, sales to minors on November the 12th, 2019.
For the record, Melvin J. Knansky representing licensee.
Good afternoon. All those going to testify, please be sworn.
You swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do. Admission or denial, Mr. Knansky?
It'll be an admission.
Okay.
In mitigation, that this licensee has been there since 2015. They had something about 3 years ago approximately. The employee was given a short suspension, still there. All the people who were not certified for that period of time have been recertified, so they made efforts to have everybody there certified with alcohol awareness. They all have been instructed to make sure they check everybody. And also, I think they've made a big sign there to get rid of the peach Amsterdam vodka so that nobody ever come back in and ask for it again.
They sent it to your house.
I could put in some cakes.
Okay. Were they cooperative?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioners?
No question.
No questions.
All right. Thank you. On the basis then, the materials contained in the charging documents, the admission proffers from counsel and any testimony, I find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on November 12, 2019. This is the second sale to minor offense. I impose a $750 fine and give them 30 days to pay.
I concur.
Find a violation of Rule 4.01A on November 12, 2019, and concur with the imposition of a $750 fine.
Thank you.
Medical exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective LeBron. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Clark.
Mr. Page, is that our docket?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. The board is in recess until January the 23rd, 11 a.m., 2020. We are adjourned.
Let's find who that mole is that started with this peach Amsterdam vodka. Somebody.
But you let us know.
Deep state.
You let us know.
Paul, y'all haven't called on yet? I mean, we didn't say peach. You guys are.
Be careful, okay?